That is what the main intention of having this course as a as a part of the Java training. Now, so so many students may be already aware of database, but still, since it's a demo class, since it's the first session, still there are even many students who may not be clear with fundamental concepts of even database. So considering all of them, like let me come up with the introduction to what database. So you have any questions to ask me? Either you can mm, use chat panel, or you can once at the end of this session, I'll give you some time. You can make your clarification of your doubts. Make a note of all the things, like I meant to say, like doubts which during this session, put on a paper, keep it ready. At the end of this session, you can get it clarified. Or else, you have any questions to ask in between, it's best I suggest that use chat panel, so that even I'll get back to you through that as well. Now, so hope my desktop, I mean my screen is shared with you all, right? My screen is shared with you all, right? Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay. The first question asked is Oracle part of data? No, 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 no. That is different. This is different. Data structures is different. Database is different. That's what I was saying. Like, let me first come up with my introduction to this class, introduction to database. Then definitely all your things that you have a confusion, you can easily I mean, overcome all those things. Okay. Anyway, fine. So here, so in this introduction part, we are talking about now, the first basic point is the computers. When we use our computers, I'm not talking about any language, I'm not talking about any package, even I'm not talking about any database. My fundamental point is, when we use computers, the major part of it is to organize data. That's what the major part. Organize data. How you organize? Now we are going to learn. What is data organization? Like, what exactly you mean by storage of data, modification, removing unwanted data, right? Uh, Getting your required information. That's what your task is, like data organize. How do you organize? What are the different ways of organizing data? So one way is using file system. This is one technique I'm saying. This is one way I'm saying. This is one way. Now, what is that way? What is that way? By creating files that you call file system. Creating or managing data through what? File. Okay, this is one fundamental point on understanding data organize, how to organize data. Okay, now question that comes is, how do you create this file? What are the different ways of creating this file? One approach is either you can use built-in applications or you can use programming languages. That is left to your choice actually. Either we use what I said, built-in application, or what's the other approach? Yeah. What's the other approach? One, by using what I said, built-in application. And second, I was talking about programming languages. Two approaches. Built-in applications, and second is programming languages. Now, under built-in applications, you're talking about which applications? Like I can use Notepad, I can use WordPad, I can use MS Word, or I can use MS Excel, so on. This is one approach. Using what? Built-in application. And what about programming languages? Which programming languages you're talking about? Anything like I can use C, I can use C++, we can use Java, you can use Python, we can use C#.NET, we can use VB.NET, etc. Now, especially when I talk about file system and when I refer it with Java, Java has something related with called IO streams. We have one concept in Java, IO stream, using which we have an approach where we can create a file. We can create a file and we can store and manage data. One approach I'm saying, like you have various other techniques as well in it, but one of the techniques. So where you're going to create what file? Even in C, C++ also, there is a support of creation of file, either for storing normal text type data or used for managing data. So even Python supports the same, even other programming languages, we have that process. That is one approach. But when you manage your data in file system, you find many disadvantages in it. Many disadvantages. So let me list out few of them for your instant reference. Let me talk on that. One is drawbacks of file system. Okay. Few drawbacks I'll list, because if I start talking on the disadvantages, then that becomes a big lengthy process and it will become wastage of time. So I just list out few. You try to remember that so that the next part of data organization will be easy for you. Okay. So now coming to drawbacks, one major drawback of file system is there is no security for your data. There is no security for data. Why am I saying this? Assume like if I create a file using Notepad, if I create a file using Notepad, and if I start storing data of our class, like your name, your email ID, your course into which you have joined, about your in contact number, if I store these details in Notepad, so anyone can open that file if it is shared, if that machine is shared, and they can mishandle your data. They can misuse your data. Like they may delete the data, they may modify the data, they may add some new data that may create a problem. Okay, now if this point, if I say, then obviously the other question that arises is what if I maintain data using MS Word, if I use data in MS Word, because MS Word, MS Excel, they provide even protection for your files with passwords. You can protect your file with password. But the point now is If you protect the file with password, it's not like you're protecting your file, you're protecting your data, so that unauthorized users cannot open that file and they can't mishandle your information. But parallelly, in other scenario, if you see, okay, you created one file maintaining all our class information in it, and the other important thing is, say that file is protected with password. So obviously, if I try to open that file, it will ask me to confirm with password. Since I'm unauthorized, if I don't authenticate with correct password, it means that I can't see the content what is available in it. So with that, I come to a conclusion. With that, we come to a conclusion, and that conclusion is that I can delete that file. Even though it is protected with password, still I can delete that file. So in that case, also you can see that we don't have security for your content that you have stored in your file, right? So I'm not talking whether that file is created only with Notepad. Even if you create a file with programming languages, the content what you have in a file will be in encrypted form, but still that file can be deleted. Even though data in the file created by programming languages, it is in encrypted form, but still, what am I saying, that file can be deleted. So there is no security. Similarly, another problem that you have is redundancy issue. Does not avoid redundancy. Talking about duplicacy, you cannot avoid duplicates. You cannot avoid duplicates, right? Similarly, now the other point is, what is the problem? Why do you want to avoid duplicates? Actually, the scenario is, sometimes you want duplicates, sometimes you want to avoid duplicates. Sometimes you want duplicates, sometimes you want to remove duplicates, you want to avoid duplicates. What if I don't avoid duplicates? Two issues will arise. One is memory related issue, wastage of memory, storing same piece of data again and again. And second drawback is that may even create confusion at the time of accessing the data. Exactly connecting with this, if you go further, there is another big problem in file system that is called data inconsistency. What is data inconsistency? Imagine that a student information, if I store in multiple files, multiple files, like one student information I store in 2 to 3 files. It's like this. Assume I'll open paintbrush to draw that. Okay. See here. This is file 1 and this is file 2. I have one student called X whose details are here, x@gmail.com. Here I have same student X, his contact number, some number. Then y@gmail.com, and y is the same student with some contact number. Now question is, if I make changes in file 1 related to the student X, if I make changes, do you feel that file 2 also gets updated? If I make changes for for file 1, like X I change to T, and here I change to T@gmail, do you feel that here also the name will be updated from X to T? Definitely not. No. If you make changes in one file, the other file still remains what unmodified. It's not modified at all. So you made changes in file 1, file 2 is not updated. That process, what is not getting updated, is called data inconsistency. Data inconsistency. Exactly similar to this, if you still further go, we have another issue: difficulty in accessing required data. This is one more problem with file system. If you want to access your required information, Notepad, you don't have that process at all. WordPad also, you don't have that process. Excel, you have that facility. In Excel, they call it as filters. But that filters, in filters, one condition, two conditions you apply for filtering, it's easy. But more number of conditions you apply, things go complex in Excel. In programming languages as well, if you go with one condition, if condition, two if condition, three if condition, that's fine. If you just keep on applying multiple conditions, multiple if conditions, then that may create even confusion in your accessing. Like this, we have many disadvantages in file system. So is the reason we have been introduced one more way of organizing the data. Second way, you can say. This is one more approach, one more way to organize data. To overcome what? All the disadvantages of what? File system. Whatever the I said no, I just listed few drawbacks. Few drawbacks. I'm not saying like those are the only drawbacks we have in file system. No, we have a big list actually. But we don't need all that stuff at this stage. So I have just come up with few things that may make you understand in a easy way the disadvantages of what? File system. Now going further on this part, now second approach of organizing data is where we come up with database. Database. This is one more way to organize data. Now, one simple point that I conclude here is, in order to come up with the definition of database, you just need to remember its picture representation. Remember picture representation of database. Easily definition can be framed. Now let me just make one small picture of database. And remember, database is always like cylindrical shape object. It is cylindrical shape object. Database representation always comes in this way. So here comes. Now my point is, my intention of coming up with this picture is, when it comes to definition, easily you can remember, and that would be all in technical terms. There are a lot of things to even focus on that part as well. That I'll get back to you as and when we progress into a subject. Yes, this is your representation of what? Database. The question is, how do you define a database? What is the definition of what? So database is defined as what? One, logical container. Logical container which contains related object. Yes. So here I used one word, logical. So probably in my coming classes, I'm going to talk on that quite more in detail, that database always provides two types of data. One is logical data, the other is physical data. Logical data, physical data. When I say physical data, that which is used with memory, logical, that which is not used with memory. So what exactly it is and all, definitely in my coming classes, we'll have one separate session to understand those terms. What is logical data and what is physical data in a database, or in related to database. This is how database definition is made. Logical container which contains what? Related object. Now question that comes is, what do you mean by object? Yeah, let me make. Objects include what? Tables, views, synonyms, sequences, indices, clusters, stored procedures, stored functions, stored packages, stored triggers, etc. These are your objects that are part of database. These are the objects that are part of what? Database. And you know something? Databases are actually classified into two types. Two types of databases. This is only for your reference. I'm not going to talk on them more in detail at this stage. This is only for your reference I'm giving. The databases are of two types. Two types. One is called OLTP. The other is called OLAP. OLTP, OLAP. OLTP is online transaction processing. OLAP is online analytical processing. Online transaction processing, online analytical processing. Two. We have many major differences between these two, but not needed for us. I just focus only on these two, that these two comes under category of what? Databases. And what is our subject is Oracle is all about OLTP now. It's online transaction processing. Now, another important thing that we have about database is it's not that we only store data. Here comes another story of database. Here comes another story of database. And that point is, and that point is, we have been provided by something called DBMS, Database Management System. Database Management System. Where I'm talking about? In order to work with database. In order to work with what? Database. What we have been given? DBMS. What is DBMS? I'll expand. Here, when you say DBMS, how you describe is collection of software programs used to store, manage, and retrieve data. Yes. So here I'm talking about some ready-made programs provided by DBMS in order to work on database. Some programs, ready-made programs. What for those programs? I said, using those programs, we store our information, we manage our information, and we retrieve our information. And remember another important point here, retrieval is based on three key points. Retrieval, data retrieval is based on what? Three key points. What are they? Let me list out one after the other here. So this is second and this is third. Three ways of data retrieval. Three ways. Okay. What are those three ways where on which our data retrieval is dependent? Yes, let me use the terms. One is accuracy. Second is timeliness. And third is relevancy. Three terms: accuracy, timeliness, relevance. You read like this actually: related data without taking much time, with no errors, accurate, with no errors. Yeah, that's what. Storage is one part. Sartak Kumar, this is, answer to your query. I have a doubt that, as you said, we can retrieve data, means we can manipulate databases. It's everything. Retrieval is only about extraction. I'm talking only about extraction. Management, when I use management, yeah, here it deals with manipulation. Store, manage, that is manipulation, retrieval. Okay, that is what your here I'm talking about three terms based on retrieval of data, relevant information without taking much time, with accuracy, that is without any errors, should be presented or should be given to user. And another interesting thing of this DBMS is this DBMS has been classified into different types, Let me list out so that you can understand what are available and what are not available among them. So here comes, remember, there are four categories of DBMS. Four categories. This is one category. This is second category. This is third category. And this is fourth category. Yeah, there is a question from someone. Just wait, please, 1 second. I'll get back to you. Hero Pogu, sir, SQL class, tell me. Yeah, this is a class for Oracle. Introduction we are coming up with. Probably in 1 or 2 days, we will come with SQL. SQL part. So whatever things are needed to understand SQL and PLSQL, that is programming part, we are coming up with those fundamentals. So directly we don't start things related with practical. As I already said, like in my introduction part, that at least we have 4 to 5 sessions or 3 or 4 sessions at max. We are going to focus on things related with fundamentals of what are needed to understand Oracle. No, our working is Oracle. SQL Server is also one database software from Microsoft. Oracle is from Oracle Corporation. Next part, you'll get to know about it. Now, what are the different types? Like one is called HDBMS, NDBMS, RDBMS, ORDBMS. Four types we have. This is about hierarchical DBMS. This is about network DBMS. This is about RDBMS. And this is about ORDBMS. So what exactly they are all on? H is hierarchical, network, relational, object relational. Four types. Hierarchical, HDBMS is hierarchical, NDBMS is network, DBMS, network DBMS, RDBMS is relational DBMS, and ORDBMS is object relational DBMS. Now, among all these four, remember these two specially. HDBMS and NDBMS both are outdated. They both are outdated. Reason for outdated is they are going to manage databases with a support of programming languages. Because of that, these two are outdated. HDBMS, NDBMS manages through what? How do they manage here? They manage database with what? Programming languages. Which programming languages you're talking about? Obviously, why either you should be good in C or you should be good in Pascal. And they both come under category of procedural programming languages. Compulsory. That too, what you need to be aware of, you should be quite strong in data structures. Now see, there is no connection between database, different story. In old technology, where we used to have HDBMS and NDBMS, at that time we used to manage our data with the support of what? These two. programming languages. That to what is needed at that time, you should be quite very strong in what data structures. That is one of the advanced programming in C and Pascal. Then you can manage. And if you are coming up with a background, I mean to say like academic studies with your computer science, then definitely you might be aware like data structures. One basic program if you write, that would be of around hundreds of lines. And if you're managing database, then such type of many programs you're supposed to write, where database maintenance becomes complex. Database maintenance, the efficiency will not be there, convenience will not be there. These all issues will arise. That is the reason why people stop working on HDBMS and NDBMS. Development still going on in the second part, where you find that we have RDBMS and ORDBMS. Yes, these two. How do you manage your data here? What is the approach? What is it you follow to manage your database here? Yes. Now let me highlight. Here we manage our database with one simple language. Now, one more question, as Javed Aslam has asked. To learn Oracle, should I know any prior knowledge on language? Or, no, not at all. Not at all. If it would have been there, would have mentioned it. No, not required. It's only you can say like if you have at least basics of C language, if you know, it is added advantage. But I didn't say that compulsory you should have knowledge on one programming language to learn database. Not at all. Database is a different part, programming language is different part. I myself again repeat that if you have knowledge on programming, C language basics, even if you know, that would be added advantage, I'm saying. But I'm not saying that you should mandatory know C language to learn database. I'm not saying that. If you have, plus point. Even if you don't have, nothing to worry. Hope answer to your query, Javed. Now, coming to RDBMS and ORDBMS, how you manage your data here is with this. How do you manage your database here is with one simple language. Simple language. We don't need any like programming languages here. A simple language they introduce to manage your database. And here comes SQL. We manage our database using what? SQL. And connecting with this SQL, which actually you call as structured query language. I'll have one separate session on SQL introduction. Probably in my coming classes, we'll come up with what? Introduction to SQL. One separate session we'll have. There I'll discuss quite more in detail about SQL. But as of now, I just have expanded the term called structured query language, which comes as a category of non-procedural language. Non-procedural language. SQL is categorized as what? Non-procedural language. And coming to another important thing, another important thing. This also I'll expand for your reference, so that when in my coming classes, how do you expand asset? Structured query language, SQL. So coming classes, as I said now, we are going to discuss more in detail about this SQL. Everything will cover about it. Now, going further on this part, now you will get to know the next part, which is quite important now. Listen carefully, please. Here, assume database database is like your mobile. Assume database is like what I'm saying is your mobile handset, best one. Database is like what I'm saying, handset, mobile. Okay. Now we have all these softwares that are categorized as RDBMS software. All these softwares. I'm going to make a list now. All these softwares are like what? RDBMS. What are they? I'll list out now. Okay. What are they? One is Oracle. One software is Oracle, which is a product of Oracle Corporation. One is SQL Server, which is a product of uh, Microsoft. Then DB2, which is a product of IBM. Sybase, which is a product of Sybase International. Teradata, this is one more database, which is a product of Teradata company. So these all are what now? Different RDBMS softwares that are used to manage their databases. Manage their database. So what did I say for easy understanding? This is what I was saying. That database is like your mobile, your handset. And these all are like this Oracle, SQL Server, DB2, Sybase. One more is also there. MySQL. Many are there, many. All these are like what? All these are like your service providers. Service providers. You can assume like this. One is like Airtel, Aircel, Vodafone, Idea, etc., etc. Whatever service providers we have, they are like service providers. This is like your mobile. Now question is, now question is, every database has its own database software. Oracle has its own database. SQL Server will have its own database. DB2 will have its own database. Sybase will have its own database. Teradata will have its own database. MySQL will have its own database. Everyone will have their own database. Now, listen to me carefully. Use chat panel and answer to this query so that I'll just replace that with your point here, technical point. Listen to me, please. Now, can you say me, as I said that this is my mobile, these all are like service providers. In order to use, say these are all service providers, I said Aircel, Idea, Vodafone, these are all like what? Service providers. So what is my query is, in order to use services of any service provider in my mobile, what my mobile should contain? Please use chat panel. In order to use the services, in order to use services of any service provider in my mobile, in my handset, what my mobile should contain? Beautiful, Sarthak Kumar. Yes, you need SIM card. You need SIM card. SIM card. What did I say? What was my question? I said, in order to use services services of Airtel in my mobile, I should have a SIM card of Airtel. Does it mean that my mobile is capable to have services of only Airtel? Definitely not. Why? Because the slot which they provide in a mobile where you insert your SIM card, it is provided in such a way that it can have a SIM card of any service provider. Hope you understand my point. Wherever you insert your SIM card in your mobile, it is provided in such a way that it can have a SIM card of any service provider. I'm not talking about only that I can have services of only Airtel. Now, question is, as I can have services of any service provider by using their SIM card in my mobile, then how does they make a difference? Simple point. The difference is only in tariff. TARIF. Tariff. That makes a difference. Airtel gives some facility of recharge. Idea will give you some facility of recharge. Slight difference will be there. Exactly same way. Remember, all RDBMS softwares of different companies are going to communicate with their respective databases by using SQL. SIM card is replaced here by SQL. As SIM is common, as SIM is common, exactly same way SQL is common for all of them. For all of them. That is the reason I was saying that in my coming classes we are going to discuss quite more in detail about this SQL part. You have any queries connecting with SQL, in that session you can raise. Today I have just come up to use the word called SQL twice in explanation, not more than that. I haven't said anything about SQL. Rather, my focus was only to highlight this data organization techniques in computers. That's it. So from my side, I'm done. You have any